Hello everyone, I'm Janeda. Today I will discuss and review most of the new features, additions, upgrades, and much more. Because finally, SCR has released the update for version 2.0 after 2 years since the last major update, 1.10. So long that the whole game is pretty much updated. Without further ado, let's get straight into this enormous update. Let's start with the driving UI. No, we're not starting here yet. We'll start with the game page on Roblox. You can see that the banners have been updated, which shows the 2.0 features and they look nice. They also changed the title of the game, adding 2.0, which basically gains active players to 1,000 for a while now. Interestingly, if you go to the server tab, you can see that the player server counts have increased. The 170 player servers were tested before setting it to 50. It's just that those large servers remain alive until it was completely shut down. Here are the details regarding player servers. But overall, the player server count has increased to 50 and plans to increase it again as of recording this video. The server seems to be much more alive than before, which is a good thing. Upon joining the game, we can see the new loading screen and the introduction scene. The first scene shows the Faymere depots between the Faymere itself and Western Coast. Then you'll be given a flash! Then it goes to the second scene that enters the station platforms area as seen by the sea. Then SCR decides to give another flash with the new SCR branding. And it finally proceeds to the game menu. So yes, it's quite cool that we have new introduction scenes. But the menu background is still at Leighton by the sea. It will be cool if you have the option to choose any station as the menu background. The menu UI hasn't really changed, except the new SCR branding of course, and the color of these buttons are quite cleaner and I like it. Other than that, nothing has changed here except the in-game guides. However, they updated the UI at these corners of the screen. Let's go through each of them. This text with the solid color indicates that you are currently in this type of server. As you can see, it's VIP, meaning I'm on a private server. Other known types of servers are Test, which is an alpha test server as shown in the 2.0 trailer video, and Training, which is a training server. If you are on a public server, this won't show. The next UI is the points and experiences. Clicking this will appear the point store, which hasn't updated as well. If you spawn anywhere regardless of the role, you will see the back to menu button, which can be used to return to the recent menu, not the main menu or the role selection. This means the buttons on the left side of the screen are gone. And I bet some players are still hovering their cursor here and realize it's gone. It happens to me as well though. The role selection menu hasn't changed. It would be better if they did, but I'm still fine sticking with this one. Let's take a look at the new driving UI, a feature that everyone is waiting for, and it is finally here. This UI is amazing and I personally love it with the new information, graphics, and its model. Let's take a quick review of each detail. Starting on the left side, we have the train class, unit number, headcode, route, next stop, scheduled arrival time, lateness, distance from the next stop, and the platform number which will appear when entering a station. The signal information shows the next signal aspect, signal code, and distance from the next signal aspect. In the middle, we have the real time, which is based in either BST or GMT time zone, depending on the current season in the UK. On the right side, we have the lock and unlock doors, open all doors which are unused for now, the horn, shame. The pantograph is used to have electricity from the overhead wires. Unfortunately, it is still unused. Next, the camera, the map, and the schedule. I'm going to start driving while I will explain the rest. Accelerating shows the power bar going up. The higher, the faster it accelerates. Then it goes down a bit when reaching the target speed. Same goes for decelerating. When your train goes uphill or downhill, this is where the gradient comes in. The gradient does the same depending on how steep your train angle is. When your train is going uphill, it will apply more power to match with the target speed, while going downhill applies more brakes accordingly. So it basically applies the laws of physics. That's a nice addition to the new driving system. Next, we have the current speed, which corresponds to the blue indicator, and the speed limit, which also corresponds to this circle on the speedometer. On the middle of the speedometer is the AWS. Do note that AWS will not trigger on the Rayleigh Bay branch, a new extension where Semaphore Signals are located, which we'll have a look later in this video. So you need to pay attention to your current signal aspect or you will become the signal god. Lastly, the green indicator is the target speed, which will be followed by the blue indicator. With the new driving system, trains accelerate or decelerate slower now to make it realistic. Well, not exactly, but close to realistic, since SCR is an arcade game. And I still like it because I like to drive trains with this kind of movement system. Realism, I would say. For those people who hate the new driving system, especially the braking part, you'll get used to it eventually as you drive more, because there's no going back to the old driving system. As you can see, I was too late to slow down because of the new system, which ended up overspeeding. And this is my first stop ever in SCR 2.0. I thought I was going to hit the buffer, but no, I perfectly stopped in front of the buffer, which is quite cool. This bar shows up depending on the situation, like when your train is loading, awaiting dispatch, awaiting guards, and more. Then we have this new summary UI after terminating. We have the quit to menu, self-explanatory, change route, which allows you to choose another route if any, and next leg, which will continue the service with the same route. It looks so much better now. I'm going to drive again to the next stop with the new driving system, and then we will proceed to the next feature. This is my second stop ever in SCR 2.0. Once again, I perfectly stopped at the correct marker and I'm quite impressed by myself now. On the third station and beyond, however, that's where I start overshooting multiple times. But hey, I'm used to it now as of recording, you just need practice. One more thing is the guard request, where you can accept or reject the guard on your train. Upon accepting, it will show the guard username, the bell button, which is used to buzz each other before leaving the station, while the X button is where you can eject the guard. That's pretty much it for the new driving UI and also the movement system.
This is Rayleigh Bay.
Let's take a look at the new dispatching UI, starting off with this UI in front of trains. This information includes the status of the train, which can be either arriving, loading, ready, which is labeled in pink, and departing. Next, we have the current lateness, platform number, headcode, and destination. The UI itself is color-coded depending on how late the train is, which is quite cool. When clicking a stopped train, the right side shows the same information as the previous UI and also the train itself, except we have 3 buttons. The pink highlight shows that you should do that next when necessary. The rules of dispatching itself remain the same, just visual changes. The process followed by TRTS, close doors, and right away. And that's it. I like the UI as usual, it is modern and cool. Other than dispatching UI changes, we also have unused TRTS boxes around dispatchable stations. If this gets operational in the future updates, it will make dispatching realistic. Let's take a look at the new guarding UI. So yes, the guarding UI has changed as well. On the left side, it's the same as before, except that it takes a few more seconds for each procedure. The whistle and the torch buttons have been moved to the right side of the UI. This is the whistle, torch, and the X button where you can leave the train entirely. While we are here, this is the information for this UI, such as the driver username, the driver's current rank, headcode, unit number, lateness, destination, next stop, and scheduled arrival time. This UI is amazing because of course we want the new UI and I appreciate those changes. One problem, however, is the rank name. Basically, if you are guarding a driver that has a long rank name, the last word will just cut off. For example, guarding a qualified driver only shows the first word, qualified. Same goes for SDS, SGD, and SSG, which shows senior, and also the mobile operations supervisor, which only shows mobile. It also does the same for probably all the managers, developers and directors. The lead driver is quite a short rank name, so it does not cut off. Yay! Now that we have explored those new UIs, let's explore 3 new stations which are all in the new extension called Rayleigh Bay branch, starting off with Aslockby station. This station has 2 platforms and they are partially separated, similar to Woodhead Lane. This station is quite simple. It is located in the town-like area, so it is reasonable. Connect services only stop here and it is the first stop when entering the new branch from Edgemead. Interestingly, we have the signaling box, and it's empty. Great, what a useless silly box. Overall, this station is simple, given that the scenery is rural, but it's quite a nice addition to add new stations in this game, so I like it. This is Carnalea Bridge. This station only has 1 platform along with a single track, meaning trains can arrive from both directions. Again, connect services only stop here, and this station is simple. But this time we are in the city with buildings. I like the scenery here. Personally, I like this station. We have the walls here next to this track, with a road behind me, and I think that's pretty much it. By the way, let's not forget the new seats which can have up to 4 people per seat, these trash cans and also the bins, and they are placed at all stations. What makes this interesting is that you can whistle and close doors at any time at this station regardless of the signal ahead, which is not entirely visible from the station. So if you want to whistle at any time, just go to Carnalea Bridge. Except that this station is not dispatchable, only guards can whistle and stuff. Lastly, we have new shops here. Some of them are from content creators in SCR Discord. I'm not going to read new shops one by one because there are a lot of new shops in this update. Overall, this station is simple with enormous scenery around here. This is Rayleigh Bay. This is a Termini station with 3 platforms and it is served by Connect and Express trains. Inside here is the waiting room with a ticket office. It's a nice area to wait here. This area is also surrounded by these paths. If we go on this side, you can see a great view of the river with sailboats. Inside the platforms area, we have PIS boards for each platform and these fences around buffers, which apply to all stations with buffers. I noticed that these off indicators are yellow. In my opinion, I think it refers to the semaphore signal, while the white off indicators refer to normal signals. So it depends on what type of signal it is referring to. This station is also where the new extension ends. The canopies here are alright, it is transparent. However, these platforms are long for some reason and it takes a bit of time for trains to arrive and depart at 50 or 30 miles per hour. The scenery here is fire. We also have static trains here and this factory. Quit yapping! We are now moving on to the upgraded stations and there are quite a lot, starting off with Stepford Victoria station. The entrance here is still the same. I don't like how this window here is too low and can be reachable by jumping. This big station signage could have been upgraded too, but let's move on inside the station. The concourse is still the same, but as you enter the platforms, oh my goodness, this area is so cool. But there are no fences around buffers. I think they are meant to place fences here. Anyway, these pillars and the ceiling with lights are amazing. They look like a viaduct, so I like it. Also, if you go to the platforms 5 and 6, the platforms are wider with round lightings on the ceiling, which makes it unique from other platforms. Sometimes, some areas have to be different. If you go outside, however, it turns out there's no office room up there. It's just a display or something. Overall, this station is amazing because of course, this station has received an upgrade. But it could have been better on the entrance and concourse area. This is Stepford Central. The most popular station has finally been upgraded. And this is the new main spawn for easy access to express and connect platforms since most people usually go to this area. The entrance is quite nice. However, the central mall has been removed, which is unfortunate, but I guess it doesn't feel alive, so it is reasonable. Before we explore the platforms, let's take a look at the concourse area first. This escalator has been improved with another entrance on the left. In here, the escalator has moved, while this area where the escalators used to be located has been transformed into a ticket area. Going up here now has the expansion to the right side, containing fewer seats actually, unlike before. However, we have this great view here, which is quite good. Although it's strange that there's a tall building sticking to the wall of the station. It looks weird, but that's fine for me, I guess. Moving on to the left side after the new escalator. The bridge here hasn't been changed, unfortunately. The Stepford Rock has the new branding, of course, and if we go inside the signaling area, the floor has been recolored to make it brighter. But the area itself is still kinda dark and dead. It could have been more detailed and alive for signalers out there. Across the bridge here, the escalators have been improved as I said earlier, with an additional stairs in the middle which looks nice, but it's too classic though. Let's finally move on to the station platforms. We have the new PIS boards for each platform, similar to Rayleigh Bay, although we already have these existing PIS boards. Furthermore, we have pillars everywhere. This is so that people who love physics won't be triggered. When going even further, we have new canopies here, from platforms 1 to 4, just after the main roof of the station, and it looks great. Additionally, we can go down here to exit the station or cross between platforms 1 and 11. Overall, this station upgrade is quite good, and that's pretty much what I have to say. But before we move on to the next station, we have one more area to look at. This is the Steve statue. If you don't know Steve, he is known as Steve Sama, a driver manager who passed away last July. I appreciate and respect his hard work to the whole SCR for the past 5 to 6 years, as well as his family and friends. Steve is the one who accepted and promoted me into the lead driver, a supervisor position, and I still cannot believe to be in this situation. So I appreciate him a lot. Let's move on to the next station. This is actually not this station. It's the old Upper Staploe. It is located on the express line, which has been there for a long time. Well, the abandoned station itself isn't upgraded, but it's a scenery improvement with 2 additional tracks which are unused, dead, and pretty much a segment which ends next to this river and the other end which is by this wall. I don't have anything to say here, so that's pretty much it.
This is Walter Newton.
That's new. Walter Newton? Anyway, this station has been upgraded and it looks good from outside. Inside here we have the tickets area and the waiting area with these windows, which could have been wider for a greater view. But it looks so much brighter now and I like it. In here we have the trash bin where the sneak peek was taken. This area looks nice as well. Now that the AirLink service can stop at Walter Newton, we can now access express platforms here with these good looking stairs and footbridge with the lights above. Within these platforms, it has gotten wider and extended now with additional car markers similar to other stations before. This is a sign that we could actually get longer trains in the future. Overall, this upgrade is quite good. Not that much though. This is Leighton Stepford Road. This station only had few changes, which are the car markers, platform extensions, and these parts here which used to be pink to give express vibes, but it looks dead now, so I personally don't like this change. But again, I don't mind. Other than those, everything seems to be same, so I guess we'll move on to the next one. This is Edgemead. This station has been upgraded along with new scenery and shops. They look so much better now because the last station looks dead. The exterior looks flat and plain, but I guess the main focus is inside the station itself. So this is a ticket area which is simple, not much to look at. In here we have quite a lot of waiting areas. We also have the power here and the static trains on the pocket track. Turns out this is not a bypass track. Overall, this station looks good as usual. By the way, this is the station before you can enter the Rayleigh Bay branch, so that's the reason why Edgemead is always busy in public servers after the update. This is Faymere, an upgraded station with new colors on platforms, fences, and the footbridge. Unfortunately, the road on the bridge has been removed where the spawn was located. But overall, the station is still simple, but it does look better now along with the new scenery as well. But then again, it looks quite the same. This is Millcastle. This station has been upgraded. This entrance is inside this building, which is quite big for some reason, but I'm fine with it. Inside here is the ticket area, then it goes uphill for a bit. Then we have the footbridge with the blue glass fences and improved stairs where you can choose a platform. The platform itself looks good with interesting canopies and a waiting area. Though the platforms in the middle may look like an express train can stop here, but no, it is still unused till now. This is Westwyvern. Yeah, I'm just having fun doing announcement impressions. Anyway, this has to be the most improved area in this update. Even the scenery here had a major improvement. But let's take a look at the station itself first. It's nice that we have a crosswalk to the station entrance. If we walk past the entrance, and oh my goodness, I love this station already. We have lots of car markers here, the theme, the details, and a good looking roof. This seat is interesting. It does look like an express theme. Interestingly, we have the lounge. A small pink and express vibes with a piano, of course. That's quite a nice addition here. On the other side of the platform, we have bushes and seats in the middle which look good. I like it. We also have the static trains in the sidings, including the Class 156 and the Class 66. In this area, we have the indoor waiting area with the station office. Notice that this sign has the old SCR branding. I think this will be the last old branding. Walking past the waiting area, we have the terminus platform and the remaining areas which are quite long. Overall, this station is amazing and it's kind of my new home because I actually have a shop somewhere which we'll take a look in a bit. Speaking of terminus platform, we have this track before Westwyvern that goes under the tunnel now instead of overpass, which looks better. Although the tunnel itself would have been detailed like the airport tunnel. Now onto the scenery in this area. On the left side, we have a big parking lot once again. And if you go left again going downhill, there's a church with a graveyard which includes the Class 171, Class 700, Class 465, and lastly, the Class 508. These trains were scrapped and will forever be in SCR history. Moving on to the right side, we have a parking lot on both sides of the road which look nice. Going down the hill shows new shops, but this one is interesting. Toby, don't forget to put a shop name here or else. We have these shops as well. When you cross under the railway and go this way, we have this side area where we can see trucks, restriction signs, rails, signals, and this start to access an actual tracks area, but unfortunately, I can't get in. Going back here, and if we go further into this area, we have TJ Speeches again and these shops. And then if we go here, there's this enormous area with huge parking lots, malls I suppose, and another warehouse. That's pretty much it for this amazing scenery. Lastly, if we go to the very back of the scenery, we can see lots of new shops here. I mean, a lot. You can also find another way by going down this hill. So, these are the shops. So that's basically all the areas we explored at Westwyvern. Obviously, I will stand here because it's my shop. Feel free to visit my shop, not this shop. Okay, just kidding. This is Northshore. This station has been upgraded, specifically the scenery outside which looks so much alive, and the building itself. That building in the background is actually the Northshore Depot, which we'll take a look at later. This station is now owned by Express instead of Connect. Interestingly, you are going down the hill as you go to the entrance. Inside here shows the waiting and ticket area. Then if we go upstairs, we can see the entrance from the other side and another lounge which has the same vibe as the Westwyvern lounge. You can also access this platform, the rest goes by this way. The platform area looks amazing with the new theme. Additionally, we have some environment decoration with trees and grass or bushes. The platform length for express trains have been extended once again, with additional car markers for longer trains. That's pretty much it for this station, looks good as usual. The rest of some station platforms have been extended as well, such as Woodhead Lane, Ellesmere Junction, Leighton City, and Lynn by the Sea. Starting off with the menu depot, which is found in the driver selection menu. The background has changed with a better depot which looks good except this smooth curve overhead wires once again. What the heck is that? The previous menu depot was located above Coxley, but now it is somewhere in the sky. This depot is similar to Northshore Depot, which is what we are going to look at next. This depot is located near the Northshore station, and it has been upgraded to an actual depot which looks so much better than this. The depot building is huge, so there's so much space, and this is where trains will spawn. For the other track, it's on the far right side of the depot. Speaking of that, there are a few more things on the right side, such as another depot building and static trains which are added to various depots as well. That's pretty much it for this depot. Starting off with the new Class 156, it has two variants, the 2-car train and a 2-car double train, which adds up to a 4-car train. It costs 3,000 points. The exterior is good with interesting lights, details, and quality which may apply to other trains because they all look good. The interior looks great with those 2x2 seats, windows, and the light, especially the gangway, although the ceiling light is smaller compared to the real-life one. The cab looks good and it is pretty much standard with this train and other trains. The sound of this train is insane. There are some kind of sound effects now as you speed, which is great.
This is Westwyvern.
The horn and door sounds are also nice and its animation is realistic. However, the rules for this train are limited for some reason. Moving on to the new Class 385 with two variants as well, which are the 3-car train and a 4-car train. It costs 2,000 points. The exterior looks fire. I really like this train so much. It is so detailed and everything. The interior is standard, but it is still detailed with those buttons, ceilings, and this double door to the cab. This cab is amazing. They really make efforts on detailing this cab. I'm impressed. The sound of this train is the same as the Class 802, but the horn is new, which sounds good. The door size are standard as well as the door animation. Moving on to the new Class 800, which is pretty much identical to the existing Class 801 in terms of the model, as well as the door animations, door sounds, and the horn, which has the new sound by the way. And it sounds good. The exterior and exterior of this train is pretty much the same for me. This train can be unlocked by purchasing the Class 801, which costs 2,250 points. The differences between these trains are the sounds, power source, and route limits. The Class 800 is a bi-mode multiple unit train. It can use either diesel engine or electrified with the use of a pantograph. Based on the sound of this train, Class 800, it uses a diesel engine, which sounds quite good. The Class 801 has the new sounds as well, and it sounds electrified because this train is an electric multiple unit, and it sounds amazing. I like it. Since it's electrified, it only runs on electrified lines, the one with overhead wires, meaning it does not run on diesel-only lines, which is why this train, including electric-only trains, are limited from using routes with diesel-only lines by the following: Newry Harbour Branch, Morganstown Flyover, I hate this flyover by the way, and Rayleigh Bay Branch. so you may see that the Class 801 has fewer routes than the Class 800. Aside from that, I expected that these trains would have 9 or 10 car trains added into the game. I was waiting for that, but it still only has 5 car. I hope that those will be added in-game in the future. But anyway, that's all for those Intercity Express trains. Starting off with the Class 313, a replacement of the Class 508. This train has 3 cars. It costs 2,000 points, or if you have already purchased the Class 508, you must have gotten this train for free. The exterior looks detailed along with the lights, doors, and windows. The interior looks amazing. A massive improvement here with those details, as well as the cab with those wires and the diesels. I'm wondering why this sun shield is pink. That's weird, but I don't mind. The sound of the train is standard, but it does have a new horn sound and the door animation. It looks so good and realistic. Moving on to the Class 319, which costs 2,250 points. Looks so detailed on everything, which are the front, windows, and doors. The interior is so amazing and detailed. I love this interior. We have these little details, the lights, and the seats, which do have different layouts, like the 2x1 seats, 2x2 seats, and 3x2 seats. Basically, everything is great and attention to details. The cab is detailed as usual. The view looks great from this angle. It has multiple windows or windshields. The sound of the train and the door animation are pretty much the same as the Class 313, except that the horn sound is standard. Moving on to the Class 321, it costs 1,500 points. As usual, the exterior looks good and detailed, especially the front one. The interior is also detailed along with 2x2 seats and 3x2 seats. I heard that this train has a sound upgrade, but it is pretty much similar to those 2 previous train reviews. But the engine sounds a little different and I like it. Moving on to the HST, also known as the Class 43, which all variants have been upgraded. This train costs 3,000 points. The exterior may look like it's the same as before, but it is upgraded with these little details, the lights, the locomotives, and the passenger coaches. The interior, however, is pretty much upgraded and it looks amazing, especially the first class interior. These seats look so comfortable to sit on. Of course, let's not forget the cab. It looks amazing. It had a massive improvement here. The sounds remain the same though. Moving on to the Class 170, which has been upgraded with an additional 2 new variants, the 2-car train and a 2-car double, which adds up to a 4-car train. This train costs 1,500 points. The front of the train looks so much better now instead of having this goofy design. However, it does look like the Class 357. The rest is pretty much standard with the same sounds, but it is still detailed, especially the cab once again. While the Class 170 is pretty much similar to the Class 171, a waterline train which costs 2,250 points has been upgraded accordingly, with the same models but different liveries. Moving on to the Class 357, a newbie train which has been upgraded, with changes to lights and a cab which looks similar to the previous train review. The interior looks standard again, but it is still a good looking interior. Aside from train upgrades, some trains have been rescaled, such as the Class 365. Speaking of that, the sound of this train needs to be fixed because the other rescaled trains are the variant Class 165, 166, 143. By the way, this train costs 2,000 points now instead of 1,000. And lastly, the Class 68. That's why the Class 165 looks small in one of my videos. Additionally, the horn sound of the Class 350 has been changed. It sounds interesting. Here are the new routes for this update. On Connect, we have 5 diesel exclusive routes by the following: Rayleigh Bay to Edgemead, Rayleigh Bay to Leighton by the Sea, Rayleigh Bay to Leighton West, Rayleigh Bay to Leighton City, and Rayleigh Bay to Westwyvern, which is exclusive to the Class 156. On Express, we only have 1 diesel exclusive route as well, which is Rayleigh Bay to Leighton by the Sea. On Waterline, we have 2 routes by the following: Benton to Carnalea and Newry Harbour to Morganstown, which are exclusive to 2-car diesel trains. Let's start with the signal updates. Interestingly, Zone H has been added. The signaling box for the said zone is located near the Rayleigh Bay station. The entrance of the signaling box is kinda hidden for some reason. At the same time, this is a good place to train spot. Just don't step on the gravel to prevent trespassing. Zone H basically covers the Rayleigh Bay branch, the new extension, all with Semaphore Signals. So small that it is easier than Zone G. This is the setup according to the guide. Trains can enter this zone from Edgemead only and vice versa. That's pretty much it, and this can be helpful for trainee signalers as well. The Semaphore Signals are an older type of signal, which functions similarly as the normal signals, but visually different. You can tell its different aspects by those called arms. Let's take a look. When both arms are pointing up, this is the green or proceed signal, and you can pass it at a speed limit. When a train passes a clear semaphore signal, the animations will play, which looks so good by the way. Anyway, both arms being horizontal means this is the red or danger signal, and you should stop in front of it until it changes. When the red arm is pointing up and the yellow arm is horizontal, this is the yellow or caution signal, and you should pass it at 45 miles per hour. If the speed limit is below that, follow the speed limit instead. Additionally, there's the single arm of the semaphore signal before the Termini at Rayleigh Bay. The arm pointing up means it's clear signal, while horizontal is red signal. Kinda functions the same as the shunt signal. This is a nice feature to add in this game. It is often located in rural areas like Aslockby. Semaphore signals are also located in a city, which is unusual, but then again, I don't mind. Moving on to the Signaler Training Academy located at Leighton by the Sea, which has been upgraded to support signaler practical trainings and that the demonstration part of the said training will be faster. These are the trainee signal desks for trainee signaler use only. It can be used as supervisor desk as well. It looks nice overall. While we are here, some junctions have changed within Zone E. So this is the setup for Westwyvern, and this is the setup around Edgemead. The station announcement effects have been added to better suit the size of the station.
Platform 11 for the 0228.
Basically, they added the echo effect and enhanced the voice to sound much better. And I like this improvement. Some stations also have a different voice.
Platform 2 for the 0251.
Spatial on train announcements have been added. This means that the train announcement audio comes from the train itself instead of hearing it everywhere, which is what we call the proximity.
Welcome on board this Stepford service to Rayleigh Bay.
However, the train announcements should only be heard for players inside the train, because you can even hear train announcements from other drivers when you are outside the train. Overall, I like the change, but I hope that the issue will be fixed soon. The next stop displays have been added to exterior screens on some trains. This is what we saw on the 2.0 trailer video, which is the Class 377. Looks nice to add on. The train management system screens have been added to the cab of some trains, which shows certain information of your train basically. Although we cannot interact with the system including the buttons, it is still a nice addition. Mile boards are located around the map, which shows how many miles you are from the said sign. For example here, if you came across this sign, you are currently 1/2 or 0.5 miles away from Starlock. Again, it is a nice addition. Another exclusive stop marker has been added to some stations like Stepford East. This stop marker can only be stopped by not only the Class 385, but also the Class 380. The speed limits for all buffered Termini stations have been changed to 15 miles per hour for arrival and 30 miles per hour for departure. The speed limit will change to 30 miles per hour if you continue the route. Personally, it is slow, but it's for safety, I guess. New forms of clutter have been added around the game. This is to add some miscellaneous decoration like these, for example. And that's quite nice. This route, which comes from Terminal 3 to Leighton Stepford Road, has added a stop at Westwyvern, which is why the station itself has been upgraded to access platforms for AirLink, and I like the addition for that stop. The guard buzzer can sound different depending on what train you are guarding. This is to suit stop. Some signals have been removed around the Benton area, which is used to be there, and also the signals between Millcastle and Westwyvern. This increases the distance between two signals given that we have the new driving system. Speaking of that, various speed limits and speed warning boards have been updated or moved to fit the new movement system. Additional banner repeaters have been added to hard-to-sight signals in the Stepford area. They are likely located around curved tracks. The off indicators have also been added to Stepford High Street and Morganstown. The overhead wires have been added to Stepford Victoria, Carnalea and various miscellaneous electrified sections. This is to support electrified trains and to prevent some routes from being unused. The cancellation announcements at Termini have been changed to service from instead of service to. This kind of announcement will only trigger if a train's destination is where you are currently staying. This is an example.
Your attention please. The 09:20 service from Stepford UFC has been cancelled.
By the way, the delay announcements feature never existed in game. The 2-digit number in Headcode will now count sequentially from a random integer. Basically, the train with the newest priority and destination in a server will randomly generate 2-digit numbers in a Headcode between 00 and 98. The second train with the set priority and destinations will just increase by 1 for the 2-digit Headcode. This is because the first train with the same priority and destination has already spawned. This is an example. If you spawn a train and you are using the first Headcode and destination in your server, the 2-digit number is randomly generated. Then, if you or someone spawns a train with the same Headcode and destination that the first train used, it will count off sequentially instead of generating random numbers. Hope you understand that. If not, check out the Headcode section in the driving guide. Speaking of guides, all operation guides have been updated, especially the driving guide, as well as the dispatching, guarding, and signaling guide. This is to stay up to date given by the version 2.0 update. The role uniforms have been updated accordingly. The rest of these upgrades are modified timetables, all the branding and billboards around the map have been updated, and various minor upgrades across the map. There are a lot of bug fixes as well, but here are some notable ones, such as issues with spawning the Class 720 at Coxley, missing sounds of the Class 755 variants. Train driven by other players will now appear smoother, click to zoom tooltip remaining visible when returning to the menu, signals associated platforms not showing correctly, platform screens displaying AirLink trains as Stepford Connect trains, Stepford United Football Club has been shortened to Stepford UFC on signaling screens, drivers were unable to terminate at Edgemead. Farley announcement audio has been added to Connect and Express.
Esterfield, Farley, Greensley, Esterfield, Farley,
And various minor scenery, cosmetic, and programming bug fixes. For full list, here are the list of changelogs. And that's all for this major update 2.0. The update is amazing. It is so much optimized, the player size have been increased, everything seemed to be revived based on the active player base. Now, for the version 2.1, I think it is pretty much confirmed that this will be the sound update. This is due to the operations director's statement and I'm excited for it. Anyway, thank you all for watching to the end, I really appreciate it. Feel free to like and subscribe if you find this interesting. See you around and goodbye!